I left home when I was 16 and went back to the Midlands because I figured I'd need to go to London because that's where it was at. But having been brought up in Little Welshness, I figured I should have a little test in the city. So I went out the Midlands for a bit and did bad stuff and experienced the world as it was. I'd come to London in 2000, I met some like-minded people and we just decided that we would teach ourselves to rap. But I never thought that I could actually rap because the only dudes I heard rapping from Britain were putting on really dodgy accents and I thought we're wastemen. Although we didn't have the word wasteman at that point, that was invented in Bow in 2003, wasn't it? You didn't have to be from Harlem and anybody's life experience could be useful so long as they weren't making up a load of weird shit. You know, hip hop was all about people raiding their parents' record collections and making some new shit with it and communicating their life experience over some noise. And that's hip hop basically, really. Like music, the music side of it, that's what it is. Rap music is a different thing. Rap music, you know, uses specific sounds and communicates a specific message perhaps, but you know, hip hop's like folk music with samplers. Grime is a label that is now specific to a certain kind of music which kind of goes clap, 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 and it's got some like fruity little violins in the background. So that's what grime is. Like, there's a UK scene of music and sounds that is not specifically, you know, rooted to the American thing, and a style of MCing that comes out of drum and bass and it comes out of garage as much as it comes out of the American thing. It's basically a UK style that's not that Suns and Moons, you know, primo beat, nonsense talking vehicle that UK hip hop was for a long time, and is also similarly not just the fruity loops, spiky little violin, I'm gonna shank your mum thing. It was the music journalist's job to categorise what is essentially an expression of the soul, which is a gross job and an evil job, really. A music journalist fools. And it was great, you know, it was good. I like it. Music journalism was a good job, and there's about 3 decent music journalists in the whole world, and the rest are dickheads who do what press officers tell them to do. Just before I signed to Interscope, I wrote a column for a magazine called Tank, saying why major record deals are essentially unnecessary now, apart from like the bank loan aspect to them. The distribution and the bank loan thing is basically like a bank loan with like 50 unnecessary advisors who actually straight down tell you you're not allowed to spend that money on that toaster, you know, and you're not allowed to have that sofa in your house. You get a studio in your house and you make a fucking wicked album. And when it comes to putting it out, they don't want it as it is because you're talking about some actual shit. For every Eminem, there's like a sub-game who's been sat on that label for like 6 years and isn't allowed to do anything or say anything or talk to anyone. You know, there's a whole bunch of people who are kind of on Interscope whose records will never be released. The people you've heard of whose records will never be released, like fucking Styles P, like Busta Rhymes can make them fucking four or five albums before they release one. You know, like big people that you know on that label have a nightmare time and can't do anything, and you know, can't release the records they want to release and shit. You know, it took Game 4 years to get his record out. I ain't got 4 years to sit around waiting for them to decide that I've watered down my shit to the point that it's, you know, it's okay to be released. So I had this song on That's My Super Ex-Girlfriend movie, so I took the money and paid off Interscope and took the album back, and off I went. So yeah, the game has changed. It's continuing to change in 5 years. It won't be recognisable to what it is now. So, you know, people basically just need to, you know, all these kids who think that their MySpace page is all they need. It's not. People won't be looking at MySpace next year. They will not be looking at MySpace next year, I promise you. You know, I watch people get up on Friendster and think that was the shit. No one looks at Friendster anymore. Like, if you're on the internet, you need your own space within it. You don't need to be renting a bit of it off Rupert Murdoch. You know, I exist 24 hours a day. Right now, I'm existing in the internet. So, like, right now, like, untold numbers of people reading my bullshit moiderings and listening to my silly songs and watching my silly cartoons and all that stuff. Right now. I mean, all the Tupac obsession says to me is that, you know, dude's gay. Dudes need to get over it. You know, Tupac is a very pretty man, fair play, and you know, he was good in Juice and he carried on doing that role for the rest of his life, and rah, good for him. But he wasn't a particularly great MC, and as far as people saying, oh, an incredible social commentator, alright, one side he went, yeah, you know, black girls in the hood get pregnant, it's terrible, and the other side he also said the exact opposite and everything else, and it wasn't even, he did it like with style, like Slick Rick, just went, man, can you hear me? over and over. I don't get it. You know, Deuce is gay, basically, and Tupac is iconic, but give me style over substance over style, actually, any day. That's why Biggie's cool. Right now, just because I got a train the other week, I'm like the other day, I'm just bothered by, like, every time I leave the house, some weird female robot voice will tell me what to do repeatedly. I think that's weird. And we're all just sort of ignoring it, that, you know, you like this, don't leave your bag unattended, step off the yellow line, move away from the door, don't do this, do that. It's like, who the fuck are you, weird robot voice? Piss off, leave me alone. You know, that shit. And I try and get on a train and there's a television broadcasting Rupert Murdoch's idea of news, which at me, this guy over here, like at me, I'm trying to sit on a train and I can't not hear their distorted idea of what's going on in Gaza. I think that's fucked and it pisses me off. So that's what's annoying me right at the moment. Statistically, each one of us gets video cameraed 5 times a day, or is it 6? The world is now a stage. You know what happens, right, when you stick people in these televisual Big Brother shows? You know, they know they've got a camera on them, they will act up. People act up when they have a camera on them. So now, when basically everyone has a camera on them at all times, I think this is significantly affecting the way that people behave without them even knowing, perhaps. Like, you know, you might be like pretending you don't know or thinking you don't know, but subconsciously you're aware that you've been filmed at all times, and therefore you're going to sort of react accordingly. And that's why people are crazy right now, and that's why kids are running around in a nut bar way, because why the fuck not? I'm kind of building towards a community elsewhere sort of idea, and there is a crew of brains being brought together, and there is a plan at work, and there is an army being built, and you can all be a part of it. The most important thing is making people aware of the hands holding the strings above the things, and once that reaches a tipping point, which it almost has, and once the curtains are drawn back and people can see the Wizard of Oz is a fat, middle-aged man with blood dripping out of his ass and a half-digested baby falling out of his lips, then we can get set about doing some shit. So right now, that's what we're up to. We're, you know, pulling back the curtains, and then comes bloody revolution, or moving to a nice island and having lots of sex. Everyone's being played to bicker amongst themselves and think that it's against them specifically, when it's actually against everybody. It's you know, it's humanity itself that has been fucked upon by, you know, the same sort of forces for the same reason. And the idea is that humanity then tears itself apart, and out of chaos comes order, and then you can reshape the world as you want it. No, I wouldn't say I was anti-religious. I think that a problem we have in this country, some of us, is that there is a big moral vacuum. Religion died over here, and it wasn't replaced with anything useful. So yeah, so if you completely remove religion but you don't leave anything in its place, then you've just got basically a bunch of fucking pissed off kids with shanks running around stabbing old ladies. Religion was born out of people being dumb and not knowing what was going on, and being scared shitless that the sun wasn't going to come up again the next day. So they all worshipped the sun, you know. And then some priests thought they could make some money off it, so they set up a system, and so on and on it went, you know. And all it is people being ignorant and wanting answers, and people being exploitative and pretending they can offer the answers. But within religion, there's lots of useful shit, you know. Don't be a dickhead. Don't, you know, nick your mate's bird. Don't rob that donkey, all that stuff, you know. That's useful, good stuff that we need. What we don't need is like dickheads in weird dresses and masks, performing strange ceremonies and eating babies and turning us all against each other. There's various things coming up at the moment, but I don't like to talk about things until they're done, because I have learned that in my experience, can sometimes curse them or something. The universe is quite intricately balanced in its sort of magical structure, and you can make a thing happen or unhappen just by saying something, I've discovered. AkiraTheDon.com. Fuck MySpace. I've got one. You have to, don't you? But you can fuck it anyway. Ignore that shit. AkiraTheDon.com. Yo, this is Kieran the dog. I hate TV, but Rapcast TV makes me really happy.
Living in the future. Living in the future. Well, I'm a man called Adam, living in the future. I make all my tunes on a computer. I update my website daily. Zing! Interscope's days, mate. ADS out from the living room, connect to the phone, and I leave that shit running past 6 in the morning. Download and